Hello, this is Mike, NoStressMike.com. It's getting cold, and you can hear the wind every once in a while, but it's cold. Look at that! I got a t-shirt, I got a long sleeve t-shirt, I got my flannel shirt. It's cold, and it's hard for me to do my exercises. Man, my body's hard from coldness. It doesn't stretch real good. So I think I'm going to have to be, and I'll be leaving here in just a few days, and I think I'm going to a warmer climate. But then again, they told me take a coat, so not sure what that means. But anyway, what I want to talk about is Monopolies, and I'm not talking about the game Monopoly. I wanted to do some research on Monopolies. And I got on the internet, and man, everything come up with the games. I guess people don't really care about what a true monopoly is. And but anyway, it's really concerning me. When I was younger, I didn't understand how all these monopoly things work, and because the companies are giving us stuff cheaper price. When I was younger, that's the way you could see this. And then, but I couldn't understand what was going on. Now I'm older, and I see what it is, what they've done, and history has shown this. If you go in competition with a large company, you can find a better way of doing something. This larger company will sell you out, or will buy you out. And this is why, and this is really, what do you call it, a tactic in business nowadays, just to help you understand how bad monopolies have got. People start businesses anymore with the intent of selling their business. They don't even intend to develop it and make it a good, dependable business that people can count on. That's not even done nowadays. I mean, even when you work for a business, don't look for long-term relationship with this business. Your work is just a stepping stone to go to another job. I mean, so there's no loyalties at all in business. And when it comes to monopolies, I don't understand. In the old days, they would break up monopolies. There is laws on this. Now, that's why I can't really get in a lot of detail on it, because it gets a little complicated. But there is a certain amount of control a business can have in the marketplace, and then it's considered a monopoly, and it needs to be broken down. Probably the best example I can think of right now is the Bell telephone. There was a time when Bell handled all of the phone services throughout the United States, and you couldn't go in competition with them. I mean, they had it down. They had the market cornered, and there was just no way you could compete against them. And now, as I'm older and I can see how it works, the time did come when finally the government broke Bell up. And when they did, that was open the door for other phone companies to go in competition with them. The thing was, it wasn't that big of a thing, now I think about it, to Bell, because that was just before they went to the electronic. See, in the old days on the telephone, they had all these little things that would magnetically make the connections and stuff like that. It was really time consuming. It was hard to make a call. Now, you all just know it's just instantaneous. You just dial the number and bam, you got it. In the old days, it went through a lot of different channels, and Bell controlled all of it. They didn't subcontract it out or anything like that. Everybody worked for Bell. Okay, so they finally broke them up. But once they broke them up, they went from that into more instead of the manually electronic hitting them like that they're able to make a circuit without going through all that. So it was just the timing. So they kind of messed up by waiting so long. And once they broke up the monopoly, now other companies could go in competition with them. And then that's when telephone bills started dropping. Now, see, it doesn't work. There's some things that are a monopoly, and there's nothing you can do about it, and that's the utilities. And that's because, like I say, the city and state and county controls this stuff. And by law, it only allows them to make a certain percentage of profit. But when you have a monopoly, you can just start making all kinds of profit, And that's what we see now. And that's why a good example of a monopoly now would be Google. Okay, Google's got the market on everything. And if you want to make whatever you have work, you have to go through Google. So it's not a good thing. And why they haven't busted it up, I don't understand. And it would make it a whole lot easier for competition. But there is no competition. You can't compete against something that big. That's the idea of a monopoly. Making it so you have no competition. And then automakers was basically the same thing. The way they kept out competition was all the, regulations. At one time, I wanted to start my own automobile manufacturing company. And it wouldn't be that hard. What I would do, think about it. What is a basic automobile? 4 wheels, a motor, and you just drive around. You could make it a golf cart, could be a car, And so it doesn't take that much to become a car. What it does take a lot is getting through all the regulations. And the regulations and liability and all this kind of stuff. And this is what has really killed the American dream. I've mentioned I am homeless. I don't have any money. I don't have a job. I've mentioned that. And I've had to get that attitude. I think it was in the 80s is when I went, when I was in the oil business. After the oil, that's when I realized how the system worked. And it wasn't going to let me get rich. I was almost rich when I was in the oil. And then the government came in and stomped me and put me out, like everybody else, knocked out a lot of little people. And that's because we were competing against monopolies. Like I say, Shell, Phillips, all these big companies, they didn't want all of us little producers. So they were able to work out something with the government, more regulations and stuff like that, taxation, and they put us out of business. So that's what happens also when big business gets too big. They work with the government to keep the competition out. So I was talking about making the cars. Like I say, I was going to just hire somebody to fabricate the frame and then buy motors that are already made. It doesn't have to be fancy motor, just some kind of motor easy to work on. And assemble these things and then market them. And it'll just be for a small local market. That's all I wanted, nothing big. But between liability and regulations, there's no way I could get that done. And that's the same thing that happens now on a lot of stuff. And that's why people don't have the true American dream about owning your own business. That's why a lot of people are doing network marketing. Somebody else has already set everything up, and really you're just a sales clerk when it comes to network marketing. You're just selling to your friends and stuff like that. So you don't really own your own business. And like I say, so that owning your own business as an American dream has pretty much been dissolved because it's so complicated. I mean, what do you think? I mean, I do own businesses. Not of them are in the United States. Now, I do do my Hoi Chi and my hotspot, personal safety. And the way I can do that is, like I say, being no house, no money, no job. That's why I can do it. Because I've avoided all the liabilities that go along with it. Because in what I do, people look for results. And that's it. And so, and I say, we're right back to what I talk about all the time. Morals. Morals and taking personal responsibility. And since I have the morals and personal responsibility, that's why I do the work that I do. And I'm not concerned about all this other kind of crap, the regulations and stuff like that. Like, they want me to get licenses. You know, how do you get a license over the stuff that I do? Who is going to give me this license? The government wants to have control over us. Once they issue you a license, then they can take your license away. So, and, but anyway, monopolies work with big companies and government working hand in hand. And that's what's been going on. And I don't see how it's going to stop in the future. This is bad. And getting our dreams of owning your own business is, like I say, it's going away because it's really difficult. This is Mike, NoStressMike.com.